What's for dinner? Hey everyone, I'm Chef Z and welcome back to my channel, Chef Z Cooks. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the perfect glazed holiday ham. Now, quick little story. So when I was younger, I actually was not a fan of glazed ham. I used to find that it was very hammy and I just could never really get behind glazed ham outside of a sandwich or for breakfast until I got older, and then I started making it myself, and I realized that one of the things that I did not like about ham is that the glaze was only on the outside of the ham. Now, if you're like me, you like that glaze to be everywhere, oozing and dripping on the inside and on the outside. However, one of the biggest challenges when making a glazed ham is that you don't want your ham to come out dry. You definitely want it to be nice and juicy, so don't worry, because I will definitely be walking you through all of my tips and tricks to helping you make the perfect juicy holiday ham. Now, like always, stay tuned until the very end of the video, because guess what? That's where all of the tips and tricks are going to be, in addition to some sprinkled out throughout the video. Now, comment down below and let me know if you typically have your glazed ham for Noche Buena, Christmas Eve, or for Easter, because those are really the big times of year that we are having some glazed ham. Let's go ahead and get started. Making a glazed ham is one of those dishes that just keeps on giving because the leftovers are so delicious. So first things first, I actually like to prepare a pre-glaze, and all you want to do is combine some melted butter, some real maple syrup, some mango juice, and some pineapple juice, and we're going to mix this all together until it's well combined. My pre-glaze essentially has some key ingredients that I'm going to use later on for the actual glaze. And I like to make a pre-glaze because I like to infuse all of those wonderful glaze flavors throughout my ham. So now I'm going to take my pre-glaze and I'm going to add it to my ham, and I want to make sure that I get into all of those crevices of my spiraled ham. One of my biggest pet peeves is having some glazed ham where the flavor is only on the outside. I actually like the flavor to be all over and on the inside as well. And since we're using butter in our pre-glaze, this is also going to make sure that our glazed ham is nice and juicy throughout. Now, when preparing your ham, make sure to use some gloves because this can definitely also get messy as well. And no worries if your melted butter starts to cool down like mine did in today's video, that's totally normal. So after you finish adding the pre-glaze, make sure that you place your ham face side down, and now we're going to cover it with some aluminum foil. And you want to do this so that your ham stays nice and juicy as well and doesn't dry out in the oven. We're now going to set our oven to 275 degrees and we're going to bake it for about 2 hours. Now, I'm baking it for 2 hours because I have an 8-pound ham and I like to bake it for about 15 minutes per pound. And now we're going to set our flame to medium, and we're going to start making our delicious glaze by adding some light brown sugar, some mango puree, which is going to add some wonderful flavor to this glaze. We're also going to add some pineapple preserves, but pineapple jam will also work. And we're going to further enhance those flavors by adding some mango juice and some pineapple juice. Now, this wouldn't be a holiday ham without some cloves and without some ground nutmeg. We now want to mix that all together until it's well combined, and you want to let it simmer so that all of those wonderful flavors truly come together and we actually begin the caramelization process. So you want to make sure that it simmers nice and steady, just as you see here. And once it's come up to a full bubble, you just want to give it one last mix and take it away from the flame. And around this time, your ham should be ready for its final glaze, which is truly going to be the moment that it comes alive. So take it out of the oven, and now we're actually going to flip our ham so it's sitting upwards with the spiral cut facing up. and that's where we're going to add the glaze, just like we did the pre-glaze earlier on in the video. Now, like always, make sure that you're wearing some gloves because this can definitely get a little bit messy. And when adding your glaze, you also want to make sure to get in between all of those spiral cuts, just so that that glaze is all the way through the ham. Now at the very end, I actually like to save a little bit of glaze off to the side because I like to use that once I cut it, and if you want to serve it again with some sliced ham. We're going to place the ham back into the oven, and now we're going to crank up the heat to 425 degrees Fahrenheit because we want that sugar to caramelize and build yet another depth of flavor. Now when doing this, make sure to baste your ham every couple of minutes because again, this ham is going to open up and you really want that flavor to permeate throughout the glazed ham. Now in total, I would say that I'm baking my ham on high heat for about 10 minutes, and I don't like to do it for no more than 10 to 15 minutes because I definitely don't want to dry out the ham. However, if you like that ham jerky flavor where it is truly candied, feel free to bake it longer or even put it on broil for a few minutes. So there you guys have it. That's my recipe for a holiday glazed ham. If you want some extra glaze, make sure to pour some over top for some more yummy flavors. If you have any questions, comment down below. And until next time, I'm Chef Z y buen provecho. Alright guys, here are my quick tips and tricks to helping you get the perfect glazed ham each and every single time. Now my first few tips are actually on how to get that ham nice and moist because I mentioned before, drying out your ham is actually very easy. So for my first tip, you definitely want to warm up the ham flat side down like I did in today's video, and you want to cover it with aluminum foil. In addition to that, you also want to warm it up at a low temperature, slow and steady. Now, depending on the type of ham that you got, it will come with directions on how to warm it up. And just for reference, I used a hickory smoked spiral ham and I warmed it up at 275, and you want to go about 15 minutes per pound. So you just do the math and you know overall just how long you have to warm it up. Now, another tip to making sure that the ham is nice and moist is that you definitely don't want to overcook it. In fact, whenever you're going to put on the glaze, make sure you put on that glaze right before you're about to serve it to guests because the glaze is actually going to dry out the ham just a little bit. Unless you like that jerky ham flavor, then go ahead and glaze it early on and then again when you warm it up. But I actually recommend glazing the ham just before you serve it and then pumping that heat up to about 425 just so that that glaze really caramelizes. Now, there are different people who like their ham different ways. There are some people who like to see the ham bone in, spiraled cut on the table and dressed up beautifully. And then there are other people who really like their ham to be super glazed and they want every slice to be coated in that sweet goodness. And if you're one of those people, then I recommend glazing the ham just like you saw in today's video. And then when that ham comes up to room temperature, just when you can pretty much cut it up, you definitely want to slice it and then lay it right in that roasting pan that you use to make the ham. Lay those slices out flat and then add the extra glaze over top and then pump it into the oven again just for a few minutes at 425 or broil. Keep a close eye because sugar does burn very quickly. And there you have it. You have some beautiful glazed ham, two different ways, whether it's bone in or whether you have it nice and sliced up. But the trick is at the very end, just don't overcook it and you're definitely going to have some juicy and tasty ham. Now, one last and final tip is that ham tastes better the next day. You can make some sandwiches or you can have it for breakfast. So I definitely recommend that you save that ham and you make some tasty leftovers. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to join the Chef Z family and come back next week when I have an all-new video. And if you need some inspirations on what to cook next, go ahead and click right here.